Reading that thread on Reddit, it was insane because so many people were like, look at rating update. Like, Gold Lewis wins every matchup in the game. Like, I don't know why it's like this. There's somebody who is like, hey, my friend is like the #1 rated Gold Lewis player in Brazil, and this is what he says are the bad matchups. And then someone replied with, well, rating.update says that, Gold Lewis beats this character. So who cares about what your friend who plays the character at a high level says? The website simply states this. Rating.update aggregates all the data for the matches that happen, and they have a global matchup chart, a top 1,000, and what's it called? Proportional to the popularity, and then top 100. So they have these matchup charts. Now, here's the thing about looking at data like this, right? In Street Fighter V, a very similar thing exists. They have like a character usage data, right? So it's like who's the most popular characters or whatever. And they also have, in all the ranks or whatever, it's got like the characters who have like the best matchups or whatever, right? So as you can see, like Akuma is the worst character, and Seth and Urien and Ken are like, these are all the worst characters in the game. Poison and Luke, most people think are like the two best characters, right? And you can see that Poison's win rate is like all the way down there. Luke is the best character in the game, by the way. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 characters above Luke. He's like right in the middle. Fang and Falk are like the two highest rating characters. Why is it that in Grandmaster, like the highest level of the game, right? So maybe the most credible. Why is it that Fang and Falk are so high? There's less data for these two characters that are less popular, right? And the people who play them are specialists who are really good with them, and their win rate with these characters is extremely high. Why is Bison so high in basically every level of play? Bison is high because he is an example of a character who is very effective with a very simple game plan. He's a strong online character. His dash is a teleport. He can put you in plus frame scenarios where you just gotta block. And the character's pretty good. He's just a good online character. The problem most people had with this is that this character, Honda, in like almost every level of play for a while, was like, he's at the top of everything, right? Honda had no business being that high versus where he actually was as a character. But people are taking their sticks and mashing them against their face to do Honda hands because it's effective online and tough to deal with. And then Honda has like a really good win rate online, and people are like, Honda's kind of broken though. So now, keeping this in mind, looking at this game, when you go and look at the matchup charts for all these characters, and you look at like the overall data for all these characters, you look at a character like Ram, who most people think is the best character in the game with no losing matchups. And she has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one's miserable. 6, 7 losing matchups on here. Some really bad, like 38% win rate is pretty bad. And the data's a bit more skewed in top 100. Maybe we should look at like top 1,000 or globally, right? So Ram has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Ram loses way more matchups than she wins on this chart. This is why my advice on looking at this data is to not take it so literally. Ram is a very popular character. She's very strong. Her tournament results are incredibly good. Most people on paper think that her matchup chart is incredibly good. And you look at the data, she looks miserable, right? Like, she looks like a terrible character. And if you look, the kinds of characters that do well shouldn't surprise you in terms of their matchup charts, right? So look at Zato. Zato, again, one of the best characters in the game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 losing matchups. And then all these matchups are a little, slightly losing or like barely even. Look at Happy Chaos's global matchup chart. Ooh, it's bad. Happy Chaos, who most people think is the best or second best with Ram, right? Axel, one of the worst characters in the game. Axel has 1, 2, 3, 4 losing matchups, right? Or 5. And he has massively winning matchups, like some of the most skewed big green numbers that we see. And why is that, right? It's because this is a good online character. He zones you. A lot of people struggle to fight against him. He has a weird archetype. He's going to have high overall win rates. Big, chonky boys that can they have a lot of life. They can smoke you because you have to play defense well against them. Characters like Nago and Gold Lewis, their win rates are... Look at Nago's win rate. He's gaming. Gold Lewis, same thing. All these winning matchups. Global matchups for Anji, Brother, look at Anji go. This character can't be stopped. Poor Happy Chaos and Ram are struggling, while Broken Anji, Gold Lewis, and Nago have such good win rates. Also, when you look at the top 100 in the tower, right? Gold Lewis and Happy Cows have two of the better win rates in here, I would guess overall. It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, look at Kai's. Kai's is quite strong too. It's definitely Specialist doing very well. The raw data does not give you an exact idea about matchup charts, right? Even if you look on here, like Gold Lewis, some of his worst matchups, Axel is like really bad. I don't think Axel is really bad. He has a 55% win rate against Chip. Most of the Gold Lewis players that I asked think that this matchup is incredibly dreadful. Gobo had it like in its own tier of bad in the last version of the game. I don't know that that's the case, but they will tell you that it's dreadful. Ram Zato, where's Zato here? 51. This matchup is dreadful for Zato, and yet it's nearly even in the chart. Anyway, the point of all this is to say, don't look at like the win rate on websites to let you think about matchup charts. Matchup charts are much more specific and much more particular than the online win percentage. And characters online that are very easy and have effective game plans tend to have really high win percentage online. Characters that are effective with a little bit more lag or under like dubious circumstances tend to have a better win rate online. Characters that require specialists tend to have really bad win rates in low rating especially, and then much better win rating and high rating. And characters that are really strong and really popular tend to have worse win rates than they actually do. You shouldn't just believe people who tell you things if they don't have good data behind it, or if you disagree with them. But also, the website is not like a 100% accurate, like, oh, this must be how the matchup is, right?
Listen.
In the top 100 or whatever, Darkrai rolls into heaven and then smokes, I don't know, Red Ditto or someone. And then the matchup is like skewed really bad. Or like Zato against Gold Lewis, for instance, the matchup was like really skewed one way because Jonathan Tene went in there once and beat Darkrai. Testament because KV did well against Darkrai one time in heaven in like a long set. Happy Gal's win rate in the top 100 is absurd because Umisho does so well.